Yeah, this is great.
Okay. My name is Billy Hensley. I'm an activity therapy tech at UT Health Center in Tyler, Texas. My job is, I got the fun job of all the techs. I get to play a lot of the games with them, being a tech myself. We just get them out, make sure that they actually have something to live for. I think I'm gonna like that a lot better, looking at you and not at that.
Yeah, okay.
I consider alcohol myself one of the most dangerous drugs because it's most socially acceptable. For what most people consider drugs, it was marijuana was my first thing. Methamphetamines come pretty quickly behind that. It's probably about a year to a year and a half before the methamphetamines followed. I've done pills, I've done acid, methamphetamines, marijuana, ecstasy. There's a lot of different drugs that I've used. The methamphetamines and the marijuana, if I had to choose one to be a DOC, I couldn't pick one or the other. Both of them are right there together.
DOC is drug of choice?
Yes, drug of choice. I took it for the very first time ever to fit in. That was that was the only reason why to do it. I was scared. I didn't know what it was going to do to me, and it stunk really bad. It had a really bad odor to it, and so I just, I took a few hits, got a little buzz off of it very first time. I knew it got too far the night that I went to jail. I remember getting pulled over. I was high as a kite. Pretty much knew I was going to jail the moment them lights come on. I remember getting out of the car, being searched. I remember getting in the police car, and I remember turning around. The next thing I remember is I came to when I was being strip searched. So I always thought it was a good thing. When my britches come down, I sobered up real quick. After I got out of jail, I just stayed one night in. After I got out of jail, I started doing a little bit of soul searching there because my two oldest brothers have done probably a combined 30 years in the pen. And I am pretty sure that the very first time that they ever got in trouble, they probably did an overnight in jail just like I did. If you come from an addict, I do not believe that you can use even one time. You can use once and quit, but that don't make you not an addict. From one of my counselors I used to work with at a previous job at a drug rehab, I hope he's watching this. He is an addict who never used. He has never used a drug in his life, but because of the family that he comes from, he knows if he had ever touched it, he would have been addicted just like me and many other addicts. Knowing what I know now, it is very scary to think about what I went through because there was no guarantee whatsoever that I could come out of that, especially being from a family of addicts and alcoholics. When I got in there and I started teaching, learning about addiction, started teaching some of my clients on my team, some of my kids on other teams, about addiction, I just kind of looked back at myself and I'm like, you're working with addicts, but you never claimed to be one. And I absolutely was. My whole lifestyle at that time, it just revolved around drugs. If somebody says they got a good relationship with drugs, they don't know yet. There is no good relationship with drugs. None. A relationship with drugs, it's all about the drug. Ain't nothing about you. Off methamphetamines, this past year, 2020, I celebrated my 10 years of sobriety. Even in the middle of me using, in the middle of my addiction, I always felt God. I've been a Christian man since I was born. I've always believed in God, still do to this day. Now, during those many years of using, I walked away from God. He stayed beside me. I truly believe that He let me go through what I was going through. He didn't put me through it. He let me go through it, but He brought me out of it. And I'm so thankful for that because that experience that I lived, I never knew would turn into my career. Because I look at this is not a job that I'm here for. This is a career. My life experience, if it can help one person, that's what I'm here for. Don't give up. Whatever you do, don't give up, because you can do it. Get your mind right, because if you don't want to be clean, you will not be clean. You have to want it first and foremost. There is many different ways for somebody to go into recovery, to become sober. My way is just one way. There's 12-step programs, there's all kinds of things out there. But the biggest thing in the very beginning, if you want to come off of drugs, you gotta want it. Right now, I'm 10 years sober, and I have that opportunity right now to go out and use tonight and relapse. I'm guaranteed that opportunity. The one thing that I'm not guaranteed is that one more opportunity to recover. Because with me, the type of drugs I used and all that, I could go out and do it one time and it could kill me right then, right there. And that's the danger that we all play with on any of the drugs. It could just be one time that kills you. This world, it's not the best place, but I enjoy being here. If I go back and use everything that I've worked for, where I'm working now, I love this place. I love my patients. I would lose my wife, and I would expect her to leave. I would probably lose respect for her if she didn't leave me, because she knows how bad I was at one time. I want to share my story because nobody shared their story with me when I was going through it, which makes it tougher. I used to talk to the kids where I used to work, and I never knew it, but there was a young lady on my team that was listening to me tell my story to another person on my team, and it helped that young lady. And I never knew that she was listening. So, to everybody out there who is in recovery, everybody who wants to be in recovery, especially ones who are already there, share your story, because you never know who's going to listen, who is listening. You never know what you can do for them. Your story might be the one that brings that person sober.